Staying warm indoors isn't just about turning up the heating or wearing thicker clothes. Two people can sit in the same room, at the same temperature, and feel completely different levels of comfort. The reason is often fabric. Some materials hold warmth steady, others lose it quickly, even if they look heavy or cozy. Understanding how fabrics work indoors helps you stay warm without piling on layers or overheating later. Why fabric matters more than thickness. Thick clothing feels like it should be warmer, but thickness alone doesn't guarantee comfort. What actually keeps you warm is trapped air. Fabrics that hold small pockets of still air slow heat loss and help your body maintain a stable temperature. When a material is dense, flat, or collapses easily, those air pockets disappear, and warmth goes with them. Indoors, this effect is even stronger. You're usually sitting or moving very little, which means your body produces less heat. If the fabric presses tightly against the skin or loses structure under your weight, it can't insulate effectively. This is why bulky clothes sometimes feel surprisingly cold after an hour. The best indoor fabrics balance structure and softness. They create space for air without restricting circulation or trapping moisture. Once you understand that warmth comes from air, not weight, choosing fabrics becomes much simpler and more predictable. Wool, stable warmth without overheating. Wool is one of the most reliable fabrics for staying warm indoors because it manages heat gradually. Its fibers naturally curl and resist lying flat, which creates tiny air pockets throughout the fabric. These pockets trap warmth close to the body and slow heat loss, even when the room feels cool. Another reason wool works well indoors is how it handles moisture. Wool absorbs moisture vapor into the fiber instead of letting it sit on the skin. This helps prevent that cold, damp feeling that often appears after sitting for a long time. Even when there is slight moisture, wool continues to insulate, keeping warmth steady rather than fluctuating. Wool also adapts well to changing conditions. It warms up when you're cold and releases excess heat when you move or the room temperature rises. This balance makes wool especially comfortable for long indoor wear, working, relaxing, or spending evenings at home without constantly adjusting layers. Merino wool, a softer option for everyday comfort. Merino wool offers the benefits of wool, with a much softer feel. The fibers are thinner and more flexible, which allows the fabric to bend gently against the skin instead of scratching it. This makes merino ideal for people who find traditional wool uncomfortable or irritating. Merino is especially well suited for everyday indoor use. It regulates temperature smoothly, keeping you warm without sudden overheating. Because it feels lighter and less bulky, merino is comfortable for wearing all day, including directly against the skin. Another advantage is breathability. Merino releases moisture gradually, helping maintain warmth over long periods of sitting. This makes it a popular choice for indoor layers, lightweight sweaters, base layers, and socks, especially in homes where temperatures fluctuate throughout the day. Fleece, quick warmth and its limits indoors. Fleece feels warm almost instantly. Its brushed surface creates a soft, fluffy layer that traps air and gives immediate insulation. This makes fleece very appealing when you feel chilled and want comfort right away. Indoors, it often feels cozy the moment you put it on. However, fleece warmth depends heavily on loft. That fluffy structure has to stay intact. When you sit for long periods, lean against furniture, or layer fleece under heavier clothes, the fabric compresses. Once flattened, it holds much less air, and warmth drops faster than expected. Fleece also handles moisture differently from natural fibers. It moves sweat away from the skin, but doesn't absorb it. In still indoor conditions, moisture can linger in the fabric. Over time, this can create a cycle of feeling warm at first, then oddly cold later. That's why fleece works best for short indoor use or light movement, rather than long, quiet hours of sitting. Cotton. Why it often makes you feel colder. Cotton is comfortable, familiar, and widely used indoors, but it's one of the worst fabrics for warmth. Cotton absorbs moisture quickly and holds onto it. Even small amounts of sweat or humidity stay trapped in the fabric, pulling heat away from the skin. Indoors, where airflow is limited and movement is minimal, this effect becomes very noticeable. Cotton may feel fine at first, but after some time it starts to feel cool and slightly damp. That sensation isn't just discomfort, it's active heat loss. Another issue is structure. Cotton fibers lie flat and don't trap much air on their own. Without loft or insulation, warmth escapes easily. This is why thick cotton pajamas, sweatshirts, or socks often fail to keep you warm, especially in the evening. Cotton works well for breathability, but when it comes to indoor warmth, it usually does the opposite of what people expect. Synthetic blends, balancing warmth and dryness. Synthetic blends combine natural fibers with man-made materials to improve performance indoors. Adding synthetics helps fabrics keep their shape, dry faster, and handle moisture more efficiently. This can be especially useful in homes where temperatures fluctuate or where you sit for long periods. Blends often feel lighter than pure wool, but warmer than cotton. The synthetic fibers help move moisture away from the skin, while natural fibers contribute insulation. This balance reduces the chance of feeling clammy or suddenly cold after an hour of wear. Another benefit is durability. Blended fabrics resist stretching, sagging, and compression better than pure natural fibers. For indoor sweaters, lounge pants, socks, and layers that get daily use, blends often provide the most predictable comfort over time. Knit fabrics versus woven fabrics indoors. How a fabric is made matters just as much as what it's made from. Knit fabrics have loops that create natural stretch and space between fibers. This structure traps air more effectively, making knits warmer and more forgiving indoors. Woven fabrics are tighter and flatter. They block airflow well but don't trap much insulating air on their own. Indoors, woven materials often feel cool unless paired with insulating layers underneath. This is why knit sweaters, joggers, and blankets usually feel warmer than woven ones of the same thickness. Knits adapt to movement and pressure, maintaining insulation while sitting or relaxing. For indoor warmth, knit construction almost always outperforms woven fabric. Fabrics that stay warm while sitting still. Sitting for long periods changes how fabrics perform. When you're inactive, your body produces less heat and pressure from sitting compresses clothing. Fabrics that lose structure under pressure stop insulating effectively, which is why you can feel cold even in a warm room. Materials that hold their shape work best here. Wool and wool blends maintain air pockets even when compressed, helping retain warmth around the hips, thighs, and lower back. Knit constructions also perform better because they rebound after pressure instead of staying flat. Fabrics that rely purely on loft, like fleece, tend to struggle during long sitting sessions. Once flattened, they lose insulation. For desk work, reading, or watching TV, structured knits and resilient fibers make a noticeable difference in how warm you feel over time. Choosing fabrics for clothes, blankets, and socks at home. Different indoor items serve different purposes, and fabric choice should match that role. For clothing, especially tops and layers, wool or wool blends provide steady warmth without overheating. Knit sweaters and cardigans are particularly effective for long wear. Blankets benefit from loft and weight. Wool blankets retain heat well without trapping moisture, while fleece blankets feel warm instantly, but cool faster over time. Choosing the right blanket depends on whether you want quick comfort or long-lasting warmth. Socks require both insulation and moisture control. Wool or blended socks outperform cotton indoors, especially on cold floors. Matching fabric to function helps maintain warmth across your entire body, not just in one layer. How to combine fabrics for warmth without overheating. Staying warm indoors isn't about choosing one perfect fabric, it's about how fabrics work together. Combining materials with different strengths helps create stable warmth without feeling heavy or sweaty. The base layer should manage moisture, the middle layer should trap air, and the outer layer should prevent heat from escaping too quickly. For example, a lightweight merino base keeps skin dry, while a wool or blended knit on top holds warmth steadily. Adding fleece as a top layer works well for short periods, but it shouldn't be the only insulating layer if you're sitting still for hours. Mixing fabrics allows each one to do what it's best at instead of forcing one material to handle everything. Indoors, smart combinations matter more than piling on clothes. When moisture control, structure, and air trapping are balanced, warmth feels natural and consistent, without constant adjusting or overheating.